is Yuri. I have been working as a nurse for quite some time now.
Ma'am, it's RA-san in room 204. He's been consistently denying food for a while now. We're not sure about what to do.
Okay, sure. I'll handle it then. I looked after hundreds and hundreds of patients over the course of my career, but I want to talk about a patient today that I can't forget about, even among the 100 other patients I've taken care of. This is when I was still a new nurse. It was well over 20 years ago. I'm the newbie Yuri. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Alright, let's go and say hello to all the patients, shall we? Our patients are organized into different rooms depending on the severity of their symptoms. The patients that need to be under strict observation are always placed in individual rooms.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, go ahead and say hello to him.
Excuse me. I'm going to be working as a nurse in neurology. My name is Yuri. Huh?
Oh, it's fine. Please continue. His eyes are a little open, but he's always been asleep.
Huh?
Hideki-san has been comatose for 20 years now. He was injured in a traffic accident when he was 12, and the traumatic brain injuries put him in a vegetative state.
I see. I can't believe that his body would be functioning for 20 years all while he's just unconscious. I'm sure his family's probably pretty upset about it, too. Hideki-san's mother, Azumi-san, always came every day during visitation hours and stayed for the whole duration.
How are you feeling, Hideki?
According to my coworker, the two parents got a divorce, and afterwards, the fathers never showed up to say anything. The mother surviving all of the monthly payments from the husband and Social Security from the government for her son.
Look, Hideki, it's an ocean that I drew yesterday. Isn't it beautiful? We used to go to the beach often, didn't we?
That looks incredibly good.
You are Yuri-san, was it? You're new here, right?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry to barge into your conversation like that.
Oh, it's totally fine. I'm the only person talking anyway.
Have you been always drawing like that?
Yeah, actually. My ex-husband never had any kind of interest in any of that, but he seemed to be more like me because he started saying things like he wanted to be an author. Before I got married, I wanted to write books for kids, so when I found out that he wanted to write stories, I figured that he would come up with something and I could draw the pictures, you know?
Wow, that sounds lovely. If you draw something again, would it be alright if I take a look?
Yeah, of course.
Azumi-san seemed like an incredibly kind person. I could tell that this person loved her son Hideki long before he was involved in an accident. She really cherished him and wanted him to be happy and healthy. Then one day...
Hey, Hiragi-san. How are you feeling today? It's pretty darn rainy outside, actually. Do you like rainy days, Hiragi-san? Yuri-san! Did you see what I just saw?
Yes, I swear that I just saw his right index finger move a little bit.
Hiragi-san, can you move it just one more time for me, please? Hiragi-san!
It was shocking to everyone. He was diagnosed as a comatose, but somehow, Hideki-san was responding to Dr. Katsura's questions. And as a result of some more tests, it was found that Hideki-san was completely paralyzed and couldn't move his body, but he definitely was conscious. Oh my god, this has to be some kind of miracle!
Are you serious?
His mother, Azumi-san, was also crying because she was so happy. I'm just so glad.
But I wonder when he became conscious again.
Huh?
I mean, even if we found out about it today, then he might have been conscious for far longer than we have known.
He just noticed that he was able to wiggle his finger today.
And is it possible that Dr. Katsura might have misdiagnosed him or something along those lines?
No. Dr. Katsura only recently moved in with us, so he didn't really have a chance to rerun any test. I think that if anyone didn't properly diagnose him, it was the doctor before him or the very first doctor.
Are you saying he might have been in this state for 20 years?
We found out the answer to our question a month later.
A, B, C, D, E, A. I see. So that's how you felt.
After finding out that Hideki-san was conscious, Azumi-san used a little board with letters on it to talk to Hideki-san. As a result, Hideki-san answered that and was awake the whole time. So Hideki-san was conscious for the whole 20 years. So he hasn't been able to move his body for 20 whole years, just lying in bed for 20 years. I don't think that anyone would be able to understand the kind of pain that Hideki-san is experiencing stuck in bed like this. But to this day, I still wonder what happened after what happened later. A few months later.
Yuri-san! Hey, take a look at this real quick.
Azumi-san.
Look!
Wow, look at that! Is it some kind of child's book?
Yes, Hideki actually thought of the text and I just drew based on what he thought.
Wow, so you two were able to actually make your dreams come true!
Yes, we really did. I'm not done drawing completely yet, but I figured that after I'm done, I'll be able to publish, you know? A book that was written by my son who can't move or talk at all.
Really?
Yeah, I guarantee you that society's going to love this. I wonder how many copies we're gonna sell. We might even get interviewed on TV sometimes. Maybe we should get some clothing ready for their interviews as well.
I should be incredibly happy that this mother and son was able to chase their dreams that was previously thought to be impossible, but for some reason I was just left with awkwardness. Everyone looked through the incomplete children's books, and of course Dr. Kutzer took part in analyzing documents. Then...
This is very strange.
Huh?
I mean, he was 12 years old when he became comatose, right? Do you really think you could be able to write something like this? What do you mean, Doctor? Well, when I tested him, his consciousness was definitely not corresponding to his current age, but it's a little strange and difficult to believe that he's this obviously clear and awake.
So, are you saying that he didn't come up with a story at all?
But he was always trying to be an author from a young age. Maybe he's just really good at that kind of thing, more than other kids around his mental age.
Let's just try another test.
Yes, Doctor. So yes, we'd like to have a more detailed test for the level of consciousness and emotional maturity that Hideki-san has.
I see. What do you say, Hideki? You'll be fine with doing another test, right?
Mm.
Oh, no. Doctor, I think he's saying he doesn't want to.
I see. Well, we can call it off for today then.
Hideki-san, we'll be back around later to see if you're interested again. Then, later, when Azumi-san wasn't around, we asked him once again to see if he was interested in conducting the test.
Hiragi-san, I would really like to further test you. So would it be alright? It's a test to get to know you better. It's very simple.
Okay. His answer was okay, so he tested in a butterfly. It was in the book, so he should be able to tell us what he's seeing, but
Can you tell me what this is?
Huh?
I don't know. As a result of the test, he wasn't very clearly awake or understanding what was happening. It was clear that he was not aware in the sense that your average human would consider conscious. He was definitely not at the conscious level that he would be able to come with the sentences for the kid's book. And then, Azumi-san, we actually got an answer from Hideki-san yesterday saying that he'd be fine with doing the test today.
Huh? Really, Hideki?
So I was hoping that you could help us out at this time around. There's some illustrations on these cards, as you can see, so I was hoping you could help him figure out what is written on these cards.
Okay, then. You got this, Hideki.
Alright then. What's this, Hiragi-san?
B-U-F-L. Afterwards, Hideki-san continued to correctly answer everything that was illustrated on the cards.
Rabbit, sunflower.
He was answering things that he clearly could not answer yesterday. He barely was able to answer half of what he was shown yesterday, but today he'd figure out everything.
Ma'am, we did this test yesterday. We used the exact same cards for the test, and Hiragi-san was unable to answer even half of what was illustrated on these cards.
What? Why didn't you just tell me that sooner? It's like you're testing me or something. How rude!
Ma'am, we need you to calm down. I'm sorry about that, but even if you weren't intentionally doing it, you may have been thinking with him and unintentionally caused him to move to the correct letters as well. It's a very real possibility. It's possible that if you feel something, then Hiragi-san can sense that and responds accordingly. Maybe that's what's going on this time around.
Right, I think that's probably what's going on right now. And yesterday, maybe Hideki was just feeling under the weather or something. Right? Isn't that right, Hideki?
I don't know what Hideki was trying to say at all at the time. We conducted the test later only this time, with a nurse acting as supporter, and the results? Hideki-san displayed characteristics that meant that Hideki-san was not very aware in the sense that we would attribute with the word. We didn't say anything to her, but it was clear that the story that was written was clearly written by Azumi-san. Afterwards, I was transferred to a different local hospital from the same group. Hideki-san was just like he always was, and I never found out what happened with the child's book incident. A little while later, my old co-worker Yasuri-san and Kuroki-san informed me that Hideki-san passed away. I don't know what happened to his mother Azumi-san after that, or what Hideki-san was thinking the whole time up until that point. And then, a few years ago, I was able to meet up with Dr. Kutzer for the first time in a while and catch up with him.
Oh, back then, I was really unsure if I should conduct the test with Hiragi-san or not. If at the time, I didn't conduct that very thorough test, then she probably would have been the center of attention by society as the miracle mother and son. If he was able to see his mother happy, then maybe he would have been satisfied. Or maybe he would have been upset that the story wasn't written by him. I don't know. Maybe he didn't even understand enough of what was going on. to understand even what was happening to him. Whatever the case, he's already moved on, so I have no way to talk to him to confirm. However, I felt a little bad that I allowed that woman that used her son, who was unable to move, to be taken advantage of, just so she could achieve her goals. But it's also fact that she was with her son for over several decades, and took care of him all the time. She's been through a lot, and yet I completely destroyed any hope that she had of what she had just seen. I don't know if I did the right thing as a person, or as a doctor. What should I have done?
Doctor, I think you did exactly what you were supposed to do as a doctor. You performed the necessary tests. At the very least, I feel that way. If you work at a hospital, then you're gonna experience something along the similar lines eventually, more or less. However, you just have to pray that patients like Hideki-san and people like Azumi-san are all saved. And that if we can help, then we do whatever we can to make sure that they find their happiness.
Welcome!
ご視聴いただきありがとうございました。なんというか、意識はあっても伝える力がないと意思疎通ができないわけですから難しい問題ですよね。もしなんてそんなことを考えても仕方ないことだとは理解していてもやりきれない思いが出てきてしまうに決まってます。結局正解は何だったのか誰にもわからないことですが、自分たちにできる最善を尽くすことが大事なのではないかなと思います。皆さんはどう感じましたか？コメント欄に書いていただけると嬉しいです。また少しでも悲しいなと思った方、チャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。